Today, Americans will get a new round of $600 direct payments under the COVID relief agreement that Congress made over the weekend. We ask an economist if that's enough to repair the damage that the pandemic has done. Plus, Tesla officially became an S&P 500 stock this morning when trading started. Opening day, though, didn't go so well. And finally, want to buy the PS5 before Christmas? Great, us too. We couldn't get one. So we tried to find out how Sony's launch got overtaken with scalpers and bots. I'm MacKenzie Sigalos, and this is CNBC After Hours. Stocks closed a bit of a wild trading session mixed. The S&P and NASDAQ finished in the red, while the Dow just barely managed to end the day in positive territory. But all three indices closed well off the day's lowest levels, and it ended up being a better day than pre-market trading was predicting. Earlier this morning, Dow futures were down as much as 700 points as investors digested the news of deeper lockdowns across the UK caused by a new, more contagious strain of the coronavirus. Right now, medical experts believe that existing COVID vaccines likely will protect against this new strain. The other big story driving markets today, Congress finally came to an agreement, and they struck a deal on a $900 billion COVID relief package. There's a lot in there. Small business loans, funds for vaccine distribution, and aid for airlines, just to name a few things. But the big headline? The government is sending out another round of direct checks, $600 instead of the $1,200 that went out in the spring. So many people in this country are hurting. Millions are out of work, and first-time jobless claims are at their highest level since early September. So we asked a top economist just how far $600 can go.
Well, it's critical to have cash, particularly in those pockets that are already empty. And I think what we've seen is that many households are already running on fumes because they had saved actually both the stimulus checks earlier in the year and the supplements to their unemployment insurance. And so the good news is the cash does reach their pockets much faster than we know unemployment, as they apply for the unemployment supplements to their unemployment insurance, actually get into their bank accounts. And that is something we want to happen. The bad news is that more people than need these checks are going to be getting these checks. The multipliers off these in terms of stimulating the economy, until you have an economy to stimulate, don't do much. They put cash in people's hands. They do get people to spend on groceries. They do get people to spend on necessities. And they also get people to pay down their debts. That does help you later on, but not in the same way. The big bang for the dollar is in supplementing unemployment insurance and getting it into those people's hands who need it the most. The $300 is hands down more important because that sustains families much longer than the $600 checks do. That there's also being accompanied by some additional SNAP funds, which is funds to be able to buy groceries. We're talking about people being able to pay rent and being able to buy groceries. So I would put that higher than just these stimulus checks in my idea of what's needed for a sustained recovery. We're trying to bridge a very long COVID-tainted waters river, and unfortunately, this gets us only partly of the way there. We know that the unemployment insurance that's baked into this bill only goes until March 14th on the supplements to unemployment insurance, and that's before we're likely to hit any kind of herd immunity to really more fully open the economy and bring workers back. Unfortunately, what we've learned in this crisis is, we'll look back on this and we'll not wonder if we've done too much. We'll ask ourselves, why didn't we do more? Because, seeing just the sheer volume of people and the demand at food banks right now is really pretty stunning. The good news is we haven't had as many evictions as we could, but there are parts of this country that have already seen tent cities sprout up. These are the kinds of images you saw during the Great Depression.
Okay, let's get to our sound check. Here's a roundup of the day's biggest action and what the top newsmakers and business leaders had to say on CNBC's airwaves.
I don't think this is going to be something we need to update it every season, but if it becomes easy to update it, you may do that. You may look at what the predominant strain is and try to update it more regularly.
The good news is this is a very, very fast way of getting money into the economy. And again, let me emphasize, that people are going to see this money the beginning of next week.
I think the antitrust laws are adequate, but the process to adjudicating these might take so long. I mean, you have an investigation that has started, it takes a year and a half. You have a trial that might take 4 years before we have a resolution. Then you're going to have appeals process. It might be 7-8 years. You tell me if technology advances during that period of time.
There's no question that our business has been impacted. As Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, has said, about 40% of our revenues are tied to things like ticket sales, concessions, et cetera, the revenues that require this building behind me to be full.
All right, the holiday shopping season is entering its final lap with just 4 days left until Christmas. Now, of course, this time of year is a critical sales period for consumer tech companies that make all those gadgets that everyone puts on their wish lists. And this year, well, one of the most highly anticipated products was Sony's PlayStation 5 console. Now, Sony's last major console debut was 7 years ago, and customers, well, they were eagerly awaiting the PS5 equipped with updated processing and graphics capabilities. PS5 was released in North America on November 12th, but the launch, it didn't go well. The entire rollout has been marred with scalpers and bots and avid gamers who want to part with $500, which is Sony's suggested retail price, but have had a really hard time finding a PS5 in stock. These releases are supposed to be well-coordinated events. Customers buy the console, game developers release new games that take advantage of the new and advanced hardware, and then customers buy those too. That's not what happened this time. After Hours producer Jordan Smith explains.
If you, like me, were looking to find one of the new Xbox or PlayStation consoles this holiday season, then you, like me, were disappointed to find that you couldn't find one, like anywhere. And this has been a problem since pre-orders began all the way back in September.
The pre-order process was not very great for either the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. A lot of the issue had to do with the fact that a lot of these stores had no idea how many units they were getting at any one time. There are a lot of bots out there that are just scooping up these consoles as quickly as possible. I don't think there's a ton that can be done just because the technology that is used to drive these bots constantly is evolving.
Sony and Microsoft quickly apologized and promised that they would correct the issues and bring more supply to customers. But November rolled around, the consoles were released, and shortages quickly became apparent. Stores sold out within minutes, scalpers quickly listed their purchases on resellers for more than double the price. In the end, it was a pretty embarrassing start for these highly anticipated consoles for both companies. So if you're looking for a console this holiday season, here's where things stand. Microsoft has reportedly said that they don't expect Xbox consoles to be readily available until April of 2021. A few more might trickle into random stores, but they remain hard to find. I personally have had better luck finding the cheaper, less powerful Xbox Series S variant. Sony did not respond to our request for comment. Microsoft did get back to us, but they sent us the same response that they sent us back in November, when they said that this has been the largest Xbox launch in history, and while they plan on selling every new console they've made this year, supply will continue to outstrip demand. If you're dead set on getting a console by the end of 2020, you might not be totally out of luck.
There is a possibility that you can snag one, but again, given the timing and given the holidays and given the demand, I would say the odds are not great.
More retailers planned as recently as last week to make more consoles available in the coming days, but expect them to sell out quickly and don't expect them to arrive until after Christmas. As for 2021, things are looking a lot better.
I do think come February, April, March, towards the quarter one of next year, it's going to get much, much easier to find these. And a little less intense. And honestly, the more time that goes by, the better the games are going to get.
Okay, time for today's numbers round. We'll start with 53. Apple has temporarily closed all 53 of its stores in California as COVID cases in the state reached a new daily record. The closures come during the last-minute holiday shopping rush. Apple says customers can still pick up existing orders over the next couple of days. 4 of the state's 5 geographical regions are currently under stay-at-home orders, which allow only 20% capacity at indoor retailers. Next, 6. Tesla officially became an S&P 500 constituent today when the market opened this morning. With a market cap of about $660 billion, Tesla's entry marked the largest ever addition to the benchmark index. It's now the 6th biggest company in the S&P. However, its debut on the index, well, it wasn't too good. Tesla shares finished the day lower. And finally, 10. CNBC's semi-annual millionaire survey is out. And according to our findings, the rich are betting on strong stock market gains next year. Nearly a third of millionaires surveyed expect stocks to rise at least 10% in 2021. Now, even though the market is near its all-time high levels, most millionaires polled say that they plan to maintain or add to their stock positions next year. Check out all the findings from the Millionaire Survey by going to CNBC.com and downloading the CNBC app. That's it for After Hours. We'll be back here in our home office tomorrow and Wednesday with new shows before Christmas at the end of the week, so be sure to catch us then.